Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day.
It's a sweltering Saturday afternoon, and the garage feels like an oven. I'm here only because Marie, my wife, insisted we needed more space for her new hobby, restoring vintage bicycles. Despite the heat, I'm determined. Marie's at her yoga retreat, so it's the perfect time to tackle this mess. As I shift a stack of old magazines, I uncover a dusty, nondescript cardboard box tucked away under the workbench. It's sealed with layers of tape as if it's hiding secrets. Curious, I slice through the tape with my pocket knife. Inside, there's a collection of CDs, each labeled with handwritten titles like Rodeo, Nurse Killer, and Zoo. The amateurish, scrawled titles suggest a personal touch. Maybe Marie bought these at a yard sale, I mutter, chuckling to myself about her quirky taste in movies. The title Nurse Killer catches my eye, and a mischievous grin spreads across my face. It sounds like a cheesy horror film, the perfect distraction for my solo afternoon. I grab the disc, dust it off, and head inside. In the living room, I warm up a leftover pizza, pop open a can of beer, and flop down into my recliner. I slide the disc into the DVD player, expecting low-budget horror or maybe a forgotten thriller. The screen flickers to life, and what I see next almost makes me choke on my beer. It's not a movie. It's Marie, dressed in a nurse's outfit, far from the horror or thrill I anticipated. My heart thuds painfully against my ribs as I watch her laughing and flirting with someone I've never seen before. They're not acting. The realization hits me like a freight train, this is real. I pause the video, my mind racing. It's just one weird video, I try to convince myself, but doubt gnaws at me. I need to know what's on the other discs. One by one, I watch them, each revealing more of Marie's betrayal. The wedding ring on her finger in every video is unmistakable, my ring, our vows, all dismissed with a carefree giggle and the slam of a bedroom door. Hours slip by, and the room darkens around me. The final video ends, and I sit there, numb, the empty beer cans and cold pizza slices around me a testament to the unraveling of my life. Suddenly, the front door creaks open. "Honey, I'm home." Marie calls out, her voice bright and oblivious. My hands clench into fists. This isn't just betrayal, it's a calculated insult. I rise from my chair, the discs in my hand. My mind races with fury and hurt, but also a cold, creeping determination. I need to confront her, yes. But more than that, I need to settle the score. As she rounds the corner into the living room, her smile fades into confusion at the sight of my grim face. "Marie," I begin, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside, "we need to talk." "It's about these," I say, holding up the discs. Her eyes widen, and she stutters a response, "John, I can explain." "No," I cut her off, the words sharp and final. "You will listen first. Then you will explain. If you can." As she sinks onto the couch, her facade crumbles. I'm ready to hear her side, but no matter what she says, I've already made a decision. Revenge isn't just an option, it's a necessity. And as I stand there, looking down at the woman I thought I knew, the wheels start turning in my mind. I'm going to start by making sure the whole world knows the truth. Marie's eyes flicker with fear and confusion as she watches me pace back and forth across our living room. I'm clutching the damning CDs in one hand, my mind racing with betrayal and anger. She sits curled up on the couch, her voice barely above a whisper, "John, please, let me explain." "Explain?" I snap, halting in front of her. "How do you explain this, Marie?" I gesture with the discs. "How do you explain lying to me, cheating on me in our own home?" She swallows hard, her eyes darting around the room as if looking for an escape. "It's not what it looks like," she stammers. "It started as a joke, a game." "A game?" I scoff, incredulous. You call this a game? Before she can respond, the doorbell rings. Frustrated, I storm to the door and yank it open. Standing on the porch is my best friend, Mike, and beside him, his wife, Lisa, both looking concerned. "Hey, man, we saw your car still in the driveway, thought you might need some company," Mike says, peering behind me. His gaze lingers on the CDs in my hand. I nod, barely managing a grimace as a smile. "Yeah, come in." As Mike and Lisa step inside, Marie wipes her eyes, trying to compose herself. Lisa immediately goes to her, offering a comforting arm. "Marie, what's going on?" she asks gently. I throw the CDs onto the coffee table, and Mike picks one up, reading the label. "Nurse Killer." "What's this about?" "It's complicated," I mutter, trying to control my anger. Turning to face all of them, I feel the weight of their gazes, filled with questions and worry. Marie starts to speak, her voice a mix of desperation and fear. "It started a few months ago. I met someone at the gym, and it was just a flirtation at first. But then, it became a game. We started filming, it was thrilling, and I got carried away." Lisa shakes her head, disbelief written all over her face. "But why record it, Marie? And why keep these?" Marie's gaze falls to her lap. "I don't know. It was stupid, so stupid." I look at Mike, seeking some sort of camaraderie, but his face shows a blend of shock and disappointment. "John, this is messed up, but you gotta think straight. What do you want to do about this?" I clench my fists, my mind racing with vengeful thoughts. "I want to expose her," I say, the words tasting bitter. "I want everyone to know what she did." Lisa interjects, "But think about what that would do. Not just to her, but to you, your reputation." "I don't care about my reputation." I snap. "She's made a fool of me." Marie starts to cry, her sobs breaking the tense silence. "John, please, I'm sorry. I never wanted to hurt you." As I watch her break down, a part of me wants to relent, but the anger is too deep, too raw to ignore. Mike steps closer, placing a hand on my shoulder. "John, maybe take some time to think this over. Revenge feels right now, but it might not be the answer." His words hang in the air, heavy with the truth I don't want to face. I look between my crying wife and my concerned friends, torn between the urge for revenge and the remnants of the life I thought I had. Finally, I nod, the fight draining out of me for the moment. "Okay, I agree, though my voice is hollow. I'll think it over. But I'm not making any promises." As Mike and Lisa prepare to leave, offering some platitudes about being there for me, I turn back to Marie. Her tear-streaked face is a reminder of the betrayal, but also of the complicated web of emotions and history we share. "Marie," I say quietly as our friends walk out the door, "we're far from okay, but we'll talk more tomorrow. For now, I need to be alone." She nods, understanding and fear mingling in her eyes as I head upstairs to the solitude of our bedroom, the weight of my decisions heavy on my shoulders. The night is restless, filled with the echo of Marie's sobs and my own simmering anger. Come morning, the house is silent, the air thick with the unsaid. Marie is in the kitchen, her back to me, as I enter. The tension makes the room feel smaller, almost suffocating. "John, can we talk?" Her voice is hoarse, probably from crying. I shake my head, not ready to dive into that conversation yet. "I need some air," I say, brushing past her and out the door. The cool morning breeze does little to soothe my burning thoughts. My phone buzzes in my pocket. It's Mike. "Hey, man. Just checking in on you. You doing okay?" "Not really, Mike. I think I'm going to do it," I reply, my voice determined. "Do what, exactly?" His tone is cautious. "Expose her." I can't just let this go. There's a pause before Mike responds. Are you sure? Have you thought this through? Yes. I'm heading to see a lawyer today. Mike sighs. Okay, buddy. Just make sure you're not doing something you'll regret. I end the call and head downtown. The law office is stark, the walls lined with books that seem as stern as the man who greets me. Mr. Clarkson, the lawyer, ushers me into his office with a practiced smile. Mr. Johnson, how can I assist you today? Clarkson asks, settling behind his massive oak desk. I explain the situation, laying out the CDs on his desk. He listens, his expression unreadable. Revenge by exposure is a common reaction, he finally says, but you need to consider the legal repercussions for yourself and your wife. There's also the matter of your own emotional well-being. I understand, but I can't let her get away with this, I insist. Clarkson nods, tapping his fingers on the desk. If you're set on this, there are discreet ways to handle it. We could possibly negotiate a settlement if divorce is your end goal. No, I don't just want a divorce. I want her actions to be public. She humiliated me, I reply, the anger resurfacing. Very well, Clarkson says after a pause. I can contact a few media outlets and see if they're interested. But remember, once this goes public, you can't take it back. I nod, feeling a mix of relief and dread. Do it. Leaving the law office, I feel like a cornered animal finally striking back. But there's a pit in my stomach that doesn't quite fade. As I walk through the bustling streets, my phone vibrates again. It's Lisa this time. John, Marie's been trying to reach you. She's worried about what you're planning to do. Please, think about this. Revenge isn't the answer. Her words are like an echo of my own conscience, but I push them away. I've made up my mind, Lisa. John, people will get hurt. Not just Marie. Think about the fallout. Everyone involved will suffer. I know, I reply, and we end the call. The rest of the day passes in a blur of anticipation and fear. By evening, when I return home, Marie is waiting, her eyes red, a suitcase by her side. John, I'm going to stay with my sister for a while, she says quietly. I think we both need some space to figure things out. I nod, unable to meet her eyes. Maybe that's best. As she leaves, the house feels empty, echoing with the ghost of our life together. I sit alone in the dim light of the living room, the reality of what I've set in motion settling around me like a heavy shroud. The intrigue of how the exposure will unfold and the repercussions it will bring weigh on me. My revenge is in motion, irreversible and foreboding, and as I sit there, I wonder if the price of satisfaction will be worth the cost of the peace I've just shattered. Several days have passed since Marie left, and the silence in the house is suffocating, each room echoing back my solitary footsteps. My phone has been ominously quiet since I initiated the media contacts through Clarkson. Today, the storm I unleashed is supposed to break. I'm sitting at the kitchen table, nursing a cup of coffee, when the phone finally rings. It's Clarkson. John, we've got a bit of a situation, he says, his voice tense. What kind of situation? My grip tightens on the cup. The story is out, and it's big. But there's more. It seems Marie wasn't the only one in those videos who was married. The other parties are coming forward, threatening legal action against everyone involved, including you for distributing the content. I'm stunned. What? But I didn't. You provided the content, John. It's a messy situation. Also, there's significant public backlash. It's not just against Marie. You're being painted in a very negative light as well. The news hits me like a punch to the gut. This isn't how I imagined things would go. I was supposed to be the victim, not vilified alongside her. My phone buzzes again, this time a notification from a local news site. The headline screams across the screen, painting me as a vengeful husband who exposed private moments. My stomach churns. I click on the article, and my heart sinks further as I read the comments filled with disgust and condemnation, not just for Marie, but for me too. The doorbell rings, pulling me from my spiraling thoughts. I open the door to find Mike and Lisa standing there, their expressions grave. "We need to talk, John," Mike says, pushing past me into the house. "This is getting out of hand." Lisa follows, her eyes sympathetic. "We saw the news, John. It's everywhere. People are calling you things. It's not good." I didn't think it would go like this, I admit, feeling the weight of my decisions crushing me. "John, you let anger blind you," Mike says firmly. "You wanted to hurt her, but this isn't justice. It's revenge, and it's dragging you down with her." There's a heavy pause before Lisa speaks up. "There's something else," she says hesitantly. "Marie's sister called me. Marie's been in an accident. She's in the hospital." The news shocks me out of my self-pity. "What? Is she okay?" "She's stable now, but it was serious. Stress-induced heart issues. They think it was triggered by all this mess," Lisa says, her voice trembling. Guilt washes over me. This was never supposed to happen. I just wanted some semblance of justice for her betrayal, not this chaos. "I need to see her," I say suddenly, grabbing my keys. At the hospital, I find Marie, pale and hooked up to monitors. Her sister, who I recognize from photos, is there, her eyes red from crying. She looks up, surprise etching her face. "John. She's been asking for you," she says after a moment, stepping aside. Approaching Marie's bedside, I'm overwhelmed by the sight of her so vulnerable. "Marie, I'm so sorry," I whisper, taking her hand. She squeezes it weakly, her voice a shadow of its usual self. "John, I never meant for any of this. I'm sorry too." We talk, really talk, for the first time in what feels like forever. Forgiveness doesn't come all at once, but understanding begins to bridge the gap between us. Leaving the hospital, I feel a mix of relief and deep sorrow. The world outside seems different now, less certain but somehow more clear. Days turn into weeks, and the media frenzy dies down, replaced by the next scandal. Marie and I decide to try counseling, not sure of reconciliation, but open to understanding. My quest for revenge taught me a harsh lesson in humility and the destructive power of anger. As life slowly finds a new rhythm, I realize that sometimes the hardest battles are fought not in the public eye, but within the quiet confines of a wounded heart, seeking not vengeance, but peace.